Welcome to Tucker Rhetoric. I've been thinking about this topic actually for a few weeks, been doing my research, looking into some different things. And the biggest struggle for me is trying to figure out how to get this information out there where it will be received. Because we live in a time now where people don't respond to truth or facts or statistics. They just want to believe what they believe. The algorithms keep reinforcing that. And so there's not a lot of like, oh, wow, I never thought about it like that. Or, oh, I learned this and it changed the way I thought. Like, people aren't really, I don't think a lot of people are doing that right now, especially when it's these topics that people feel really emotional about. All right. So, what I want to look at today is the black community and the issues that are going on within the black community. Now, I've had this conversation with a lot of my friends, family members, and I'm always getting the same excuses, okay? Because that's exactly what they are. They're excuses. And for me, the way I understand it is that children try to blame others instead of taking responsibility because they don't have the maturity to take responsibility for their actions. However, adults should not engage in this behavior, all right? I want to say this straight out. Racism is not the problem within the black community. Okay? It barely ain't even the white people around. So it ain't the white people are not racism is not the problem. Okay? And it amazes me that it's like how long is the black community going to sit around crying about the white man and racism? It's like, okay, there's racism, fine. Get over it. Move on with your life. Do something. All right? Because when there was a lot more racism right open in your face in America, the black community was doing much better. All right? Read or listen to Thomas Sowell. Like, do your research. All right? So I want to just look at some of the statistics here because there are huge problems within the black community. And from my point of view, I look at it in three main areas. Number one is the culture. Number two is the family structure. And number three is education. All right. When I say culture, culture encompasses a lot of different things: music, food, norms of behavior. Those three right there are a huge problem within the black community. Hip hop is a very popular music uh, within the black community, other communities as well. However, it influences the black community in a way that it doesn't influence others. Because in the past, art would imitate life, but now we have life trying to imitate art. So you have a lot of young black men who are listening to this music, for example, this drill music, and now they all want to be gangsters and thugs and go out here and shoot and kill each other. All right? Not all of them, but a lot of them. Too many of them. All right? The other thing is the music is very degrading towards women. Okay, this might explain why the family structure is the way it is and why a lot of relationships aren't lasting within the community. You also have to look at the fact that a lot of this music is glorifying killing other black people. All right, other communities aren't doing this. They're not making songs about killing their people, but you guys are. And I don't know why you try to act like it's not true. It's true. Like, listen to the song, you can hear the lyrics. It clearly is saying this. It also glorifies being a gangster, like selling drugs and partaking in other illegal activities, abusing drugs. This is all cool. All right? Not to mention the horrible financial advice that it gives you because you should spend $100,000 on a chain and all of this craziness. And people are actually trying to follow and do these things. Another aspect of culture is the food that is being eaten in the black community. The black community has the highest rates of obesity, heart disease, and diabetes. Obesity, heart disease, and diabetes. Don't blame it on the white man. You're doing this to yourselves. All right? Period, point blank. Now, of course, you're going to say, well, because we don't have access to blah, blah, blah. That is not true. All right? If you really wanted to eat better, you would. Period. If you wanted to exercise, you would. period. All right, you can go walk, you can go jog. Ain't nobody stopping you from exercising. You can do squats at home. So there's no excuse for this. Another big problem is, so we're very unhealthy, all right? And another big problem is the family structure. The family structure is just destroyed. You have the highest divorce rates, you have the highest abortion rates, you have the highest single parent rates. You cannot have the highest from the country because black people only make up about 14% of the U.S. population, while white people make up 58%. Whenever I bring these different issues up to my friends and family, they always come back to me with, white people do it too. When I talk about homicides in the black community, white people kill each other too. I'm going to get into that a little bit later. But the family structure is a huge problem because when you don't have men in the house, when you don't have authority and discipline in the house, what you get is what you got. Because a lot of these kids who are coming from single parent homes tend to get into activities they shouldn't. They tend to get into gangs. They start getting into crime. And we see the cycle over and over again. All right. Again, you'll find a way to try to blame the white man for that too. But the white man has nothing to do with you getting someone pregnant and not taking care of your child. Or you, woman, getting pregnant by 2 or 3 different dudes who don't take care of their kid. I mean, was the white man in the room like pushing his butt or like how was he involved in this? All right. It's just craziness that you still constantly try to make excuses instead of taking accountability for what you're doing. The other thing that I'll talk about, education. All right. Education, first of all, starts at home. Language development, habits, discipline, your attitudes toward learning. All of those things are formed at home. Now, if your kid has never seen you touch a book, then you wonder why these kids can't read. Right now, in 2026, 80% of African American 4th graders in the United States are not reading at their grade level. And I'm only looking at just that specific because I was looking at elementary school, all right? So we don't have a strong focus on education. A lot of people within the community want to be basketball players, football players, or entertainers. That's great, but what about doctors, lawyers, engineers? What about trades? What about these other things that we could get into? Why aren't we pushing them towards that? Last time I was in Cleveland, I was in the library. So I'm going to the library. It's a nice library, all black kids because that's the area of the neighborhood I was in. And when I went to the library, I saw all the kids in there, a lot of teenagers in there. How many of them were reading books? How many of them were looking at books? Okay. I would say less than 2% of the kids that was in there. Most of them were on the computers, on social media. So I try to tell my friends, my family, you have to push your kids to read and you have to do it at an early age. So they establish the habit. Take them to read whatever, comics, it doesn't matter, things they like, but you need to get them into reading because if you can read, you can learn anything. You can study and you don't have to believe the nonsense that people around you are telling you. You can actually read and know things, all right? So let's get into some of these numbers real quick with the homicides because this is insane. Insane, all right? As I said before, black people make up around 14% of the population. White people make up 58%. Now, these are rough numbers. That is 4 times the amount, all right? There are 4 times more white people. Now, when we look at homicide, and I'm giving you statistics from 2015 to 2023, I just chose those 9 years to look at, and I have statistics from the FBI and CDC. Now, some of you are thinking, what is the CDC? And some of you are thinking, why the CDC would be looking at homicide? Well, the CDC is the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, and while they study diseases and things that are going within the society, they also do studies to look at violence in terms of a public health threat, which it is a threat if people are getting killed, so it's affecting their health, all right? Now, during the time period that I mentioned, from 2015 to 2023, I looked at black-on-black homicides versus white-on-white homicides, because that's the thing that people always say to me. White people kill each other too, which to me makes no sense. Because if I'm telling you about what dogs do, why do you return rebuttal with what cats do? I'm not talking about cats. I'm talking about dogs, all right? Black people kill. 85% of homicides are done by other black people. 10% are done by white people. 3% by Hispanics. 2% are done by others. 85% of the homicides within the black community are coming from other black people. 10% are coming from white people. All right? Now, for white homicides, 77% of homicides are committed by white people on white people. 18% are committed by black, 3% by Hispanic, and again, 2% by the others. Now, if you go back to these numbers, 10% of the black people are being killed by white people. 18%, nearly double, are being killed by black people. So black people are killing each other. 85% of the time, they're killing each other, and they are twice as likely to kill a white person as a white person is to kill them. We have a problem with violence and culture within the community. Whether you want to acknowledge or not, it is true, and the numbers don't lie. See, people like words because they have these emotional attachments to them, and they cause you to feel things, but you got to look at numbers, all right? Now, let's look at per capita. I'm just going to go 2023. Per capita means per 100,000 people, okay? So, for black on black homicide, per capita, 21.3 per 100,000. White people, white on white, 3.2%. 3.2 out of 100,000. That is 7 times higher. Okay? So your homicide rate is 7 times higher than that of white people. So don't tell me white people kill each other too. That argument makes no sense. I'm saying all that to say this. There's a huge problem with the culture within the black community. Education, the family structure, these are the main things that need to be focused on. So what are solutions? Number one, we need positive male role models. We need men to step up and be there for their children. Even if you ain't with the mother, you still need to be in your child's life. And y'all women need to allow them to be in their child's life. And also, young ladies, choose better, men. All right, don't just have babies with anybody because it's going to affect your child. The next thing is we have to work on education. Reading is important. You need to read with your kids. They need to see you reading. If you ain't reading, make them read. Take them to the library, have them pick a book, read the book. You finish this book, I'll give you whatever, something. Like make a reward system. Motivate them to read. It is extremely important. All right? The other thing is, I don't know what to do with this hip hop music because this is just craziness. All right? The solution is don't listen to it. Just turn it off. And especially stop letting your kids listen to this crap. But again, please take accountability. Focus on yourselves. It ain't the white man. The white man got his own thing going on. He ain't worried about you. Y'all need to take care of what y'all need to take care of. I've said this before. Tupac said, they telling me it's the white man I should fear, but it's my own kind doing all the killing here. Wake up. Racism ain't the problem. You are the problem.